Just a recap of last session we had on Tuesday. We discussed how to loop over the dictionary. Then we saw how we can use continue and break within the loops to break the loop or skip some particular iteration. Then we saw list comprehensions, kind of for loop, how we can write a smaller code for a loop and create lists. And then we saw the exception handling using try, except, right? And then also we saw how we can work with files, how we can open a file, how we can read line by line, how we can write, append. So all those things we covered. Today we are going to discuss about functions, one of the most important topics in Python, because in general, day in day out, if you are working with Python, you will be working with functions, right? So whatever assignments you have done, it is plain programming, Python programming you have done, but ideally that's not how we write the code. We create the functions. Okay, so what is a function? So there are two aspects of function. One is it makes your code cleaner, right? If you go through your code and everything is line by line, you are writing all the code, it will be very messy. So you can divide it in smaller chunks. You can write a function and use that later point of time. Second thing is they are reusable, right? So if you write a function once, you can reuse it multiple times. Okay. So let's write our first function and see what they are exactly. Okay. So you write a function using define keyword. So you say define, okay, and let's say I'm giving my function name as say hello, or let's say greet. Okay, this is my function, and then I will pass. So there are no arguments. I can pass the argument I will show, but we are just closing this colon, just like for loop. If we put a colon, and then we put a function definition. So I will say print good morning, right? So this is my function. The name is greet, right? I'm just ending the function. I'm coming up out of the space and this ends my function. So what happens is there is a function greet, and within that function, I'm saying print good morning. That's it, right? Now I will call this function and I will say greet. I will just type greet and that's it. This is how you call a function. You just put the function name and it will be called. Now let me run this program quickly. So if you see, I call this program greet, okay, and it is printing good morning, right? If I just do this, okay, I'm not calling this program and just running this. It is not printing anything, you see, because this function is just defined. If we don't use it, it will not invoke anything, right? So I have to call this function to do whatever task is there inside, right? Now let's take another example. Let's say I want to create a function which returns the sum of two numbers, simple function, right? So in that case, what I have to do, I have to pass the arguments. So let's create another function. This time I will say get sum, okay? And I will
Hey,
pass two arguments, a comma b. Now what I'm going to do, everyone please go on mute guys, please. Okay. Now here what I'm doing, I will say c equal to a plus b, okay? And say return c. Okay. Now what is happening is when I call this function, okay, so I will say get sum 1 comma 2. Okay. Now this function expects two argument, right? A and B, right? I'm passing value 1, so they are positional argument. 1 will go to A, 2 will go to B. Okay. And within that function, it will do C equal to A plus B and it will return C. So this function returns something, right? This function doesn't return something. It is just printing, right? It doesn't return something. So there are two kinds of function can be there. One function which does some work and that's it. They don't return anything like greet function. But get some function returns something. So we have the return keyword here that when we call this function return value C, okay? And I can store this value in some other value. Let's say add, let's say d equal to get sum. Okay. Now if I call this function, okay, and if I see what is the value of d equal to 3, right? D equal to 3. So it returns the value and d equal to 3. Let me put return value of this. It doesn't return anything, but let's put something. So I will say a equal to, not a, let's say p equal to greet. Okay. And I'll just run this. Now let's say what's there in d. D 3 is there, and let's say what's in p, nothing is there, right? Nothing is there in p. Why? Because greet function is not returning anything, right? So it is not mandatory that function should return something. It is absolutely okay. But if you are returning, you can get the value in another value, right? In the function also, you can directly say return a plus b. You don't have to have this. You can just say return a plus b. Okay. Now, if I again run this and again I check d equal to 3, right? I'm directly returning a plus b. Okay. Now, the important thing is the number of parameters which function expects, you should pass that. So if I pass 1 only and try to run this program, it will give me error. Get some missing one required positional argument b. So we are not giving any value of b, so it is failing, right? So that's the problem. Now let's say I want to keep a default value of an argument. So I want to say b equal to 1. Okay. So it means if I don't pass b, consider it as 1, right? Now if I run this program, it is running, and if I see the value of d, it is 2, right? And if I pass 3, it will take the value which I pass, right? If I don't pass, it will take the default value. If we look at d, it will be 4 now. Okay. So you can pass value if you
So
want some
here
default
value
value.
will be any kind of data type like float or minus anything
No, you
decimals.
can pass anything. So whatever data type you pass, that variable become of that type. You can even pass list, dictionaries, anything you can pass. You have to make sure within the function you handle accordingly.
And Ankit, okay, whatever function you are creating, where it's getting created, is it particular for the session or it's getting stored somewhere?
No, it is not getting stored anywhere.
Then how it will be reusable if someone else wanted to use those function?
I will come to it. I'll come to it. Okay.
Ankit, B in line number 9, P is equal to greet, but greet is good morning. So the
Right.
P must return good morning, right?
No, this function prints good morning. That's it. This function is not returning anything. To return something, there should be a return keyword. Then only it will return something.
Okay, but we have given P is equal to greet. So
Right.
like,
So what
so
will
like,
happen? Greet function will be called, right?
okay,
But it is not returning anything. So P will be empty. Nothing will be there in the P.
okay, thank you.
Okay.
And
Only when you
Ankit,
return something, then it will be assigned to the variable.
hello Ankit.
Yeah.
Instead of return, can we use return and in curly bracket we can mention C. It's line number
Curly
7.
brackets.
Yeah.
Why you want to do in curly brackets?
No. C equal to A plus B, and instead of return C, can we use print C?
No. It will print, right? It will just print C. It is not going to return anything. You have to use return keyword if you want function to return something. If you are just do print, it will print and nothing.
Okay, I think I thought
No,
like
no,
it will
Ankit,
be written the result. Yeah.
Ankit, can you like in the first function you have mentioned, right? Good morning. So suppose in the same way as here also we print something, but we are passing this C also, right, as a variable. So can it also add it, or I think let's give a try.
If I do print C, it will just print C. That's it. So let's do it. Okay. So it is printing C, which is 1 plus 3, 4, but let's see what's there in D. Nothing is there in D. You have to use return keyword if you want function to return something.
Otherwise, the data will be stored under this function only, right? In the function
Right.
itself, it will give the result. Outside,
Right.
if we want to see the data outside, then we need to return function.
Right. Okay.
Can I share my screen for 1 second?
Tell me what
Can I share
happened.
my screen for 1 second?
We can take that out later. Is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
Ankit, if we want to restrict the data type for the function, how can we do that?
No. So in functions, you can't pass any data type as such. So you can pass 2 arguments, and then in that 2 arguments, you can pass a list or dictionary or float or anything as such. And accordingly, you have to handle it within the function. If you are expecting a list, then you make sure you do list operations on that. Otherwise, your function will fail.
Okay.
Hi,
Now,
Ankit.
yeah.
If we want to assign some alias to the function, we have to use return in the function. Is that so?
No, it is returning a value. It is not alias. So this function is returning value C. Please go on mute, guys. Please. Return C. So it is returning a value C. Now, when I call this function, I'm assigning whatever is returning by this function to another variable D. Right? When I run this, it will return C, and that C value will go into D. It is not aliasing. It is just returning a value. If I don't return anything, then nothing will be assigned to D.
Ankit, if we in this Ankit, in line 12, like D is equal to get sum and 1, 3. If we don't write 3, it will automatically take as 1, right? Because we are given B is equal to 1.
Right. If I give here the default value, then it will take 1. Right.
Hello, Ankit. Sometimes in a function it will write like define get some A comma B star. So what that star means?
Yeah, I will come to it. Just focus on what I'm telling. Don't go forward. Okay. We'll cover everything. Okay. Now another important thing is here. The scope of variables is local. Okay. What does that mean? So whatever variables you are defining here are not global variables. They are local to the function. So let's say I'm doing this. So let me comment it for now. This one. And we will call this. Okay. So I'm defining a variable, let's say num equal to 4. Okay. And here again, I'm saying num equal to A plus B. Okay. And then I'm saying return num. And then what I'm going to do is print num. Okay. So what I'm doing, I defined num equal to 4 here, right? Now what I'm going to do, let's remove this for now. 1, 3. Okay. Not 3. Let's take 5. Okay. So what it will do, it will say num equal to A plus B, right? And A plus B will be 6. And it will return 6. And it will print 6. Now what will become to num now? If I print num here, what will happen? What do you guys think? What will be the 2 prints now?
6 and 4.
6 and 4.
6 and 4, exactly. You see, 6 and 4. Why? This is a local variable. The scope of this variable is within that function, right? The moment you comes out of this function, that variable is vanished, right? And this is a global variable, right? So this variable will be there for the entire program, but the variables which are there within the functions are local and you cannot access them outside, right? Now, what if you want to access this global variable within the function, right? Currently, we cannot. So, for example, if I say print num and run this program. So what is happening? So let me do this. So we are getting get some, what all we are printing. Print num. So what if we want to change the value of this num within the function? It is not a good idea, right? Because this is a global function, global variable. If I change the value within the function, then outside also it will be changed everywhere I'm using. There is a way of doing it, but ideally we should not do it. So how I can do it? I will say global num. So the moment I say global num, right? I told Python that within that function, use the global num variable, right? Now if I say num equal to 6 and return 6, right? Or let's say num equal to a plus b, right? And return num. Okay, let's see what will happen now. So you see, we are seeing 6, 6. So num was 4 initially, the global variable, but then within the function we said that use the global num, not the local that we will create new. So this is now overwritten with the new value. And now if I print it, it is giving me 6, but the global one also is changed to 6, right? So this is how you can access the global variable within a function. It is not a good practice because it is a global variable. Why you want to change it within a function and then everything outside will change, right? If you have a very strong use case, then you might, but it is not a good practice to change the global variable name within a function. Okay. So as much as you can avoid it. Okay. Now there is a problem with this function now again. What if I want the sum of three values, right? So let's say I want this one. Let me comment everything for now. And okay, now what if I want the sum of three variables? So I will say d equal to get sum 1, 2, 3. I want, instead of 2, I want 3. And let's run this. So it is giving me error that get sum takes 2 positional arguments, but 3 were given, right? And that's a problem because any function will require fixed number of argument a comma b. So you have to pass only 2. If you want 3, then you will have to create another function. So you will define get sum 3, right? And then you will call this function separately. So get sum 3 and then it will work, right? Get sum 3.
Definition. In the definition, yeah. Get some definition.
Okay.
Third variable not defined, yeah.
Yeah. C, and then you will say a plus b plus c.
Inside the bracket.
Still.
Okay, so this is fine now. So this will give me 6, the sum of 3 numbers. So if you think that you have to, the function you are creating should be able to accept, dynamic number of variables. For that, we have to use star. So what I can say is, I will do this star, and I can give any name. Let's say args, star args, right? So what I'm saying, we can pass any number of arguments here now, right? So let's pass something. I'm passing get sum 1, 2, 3, and let's just print what is there. Print args, and I'm going to print the type of arg. So what is this variable args? Okay. So let's run this. Okay. So if you see, I passed 1, 2, 3, and I'm just printing args. So what is args? Args, if you see, is a tuple. The type of arg is a tuple, and that tuple has 3 values, right? 1, 2, 3. So when you pass this args variable, when you use this args variable in a function, and if you pass multiple values, they will go as a tuple, right? Once they go as a tuple, then you can run a loop or something to get the sum. So if I want to get a sum, I will say num equal to, let's say I initialize it with 0, right? For num in args, right? This is my tuple. I can loop over it, and I will say num equal to
Num plus
num a. That's it. Num equal to num plus a, right? So what it will do? It will go iterate over the tuple and give value, and then I will say return. This return should be outside, right? Return a. If I run this function now and see d, so d is 3, right? I'm equal to num.
Return num.
It should be num, right?
Oh,
Return
sorry,
num
my bad. Yeah. Okay, so if I look at d equal to 6 now, right? So when you want to pass the dynamic number of arguments, you have to do like this, star args, right? And it will go as a tuple. Then you know all the values which I am passing is in a tuple, and then whatever program you write, you make sure you handle it accordingly, right? You can't just do a plus b plus c now, because it can be any number of values. You can't say there will be 3 values or 4 values. So this comes as a structure, a data structure, and then you can do anything over it, loop over it or anything. So this comes as a tuple. Okay. Now this is what we are talking about so far are all positional arguments, right? We can also pass keyword argument. What does that mean? So let's talk about this function again. Okay. And what I'm saying here, when I call this function, I can say d equal to get sum. If I pass 1, 2, what will happen? 1 will go to A and 2 will go to B, right? But I can also pass values, the keyword also. So I can say B equal to 1 and A equal to 2, right? So this is a keyword argument, which means B will go to 1 and A will go to 2. So if I run this now, and let me print both of them. So I will say print A comma B, right? So if you see, the value of A is 2 and the value of B is 1, right? So if you just pass without giving the variable name, then it will take by positional. Those are called as positional argument. The first argument will go to first, the second argument will go to second variable. But you can even pass the values. You can say B equal to 1, A equal to 2. So these are called as keyword arguments. You are specifying the keyword on which this argument should go, right? Now, similarly, if you pass the keyword argument dynamically, how you can do it? So let me copy this again, right? And now for keyword argument, we have to pass 2 stars. Okay. Now again, this variable name can be anything, but generally this is followed. KCargs means keyword arguments. And let me just remove all of this. And I will put A equal to 1, B equal to 2, C equal to 3. Okay. Let's run this. Sorry, it is cards. This is cards. You see, this time the data structure has changed, right? The cards is now a dictionary. Because we are giving keyword arguments, it has to maintain that, right? That the value of A is 1, value of B is 2, value of C is 3. When we pass positional argument, it is just 3 values. It is coming in a tuple that first value is 1, second is 2, third is 3, right? But if you want to pass some values, for example, you want to pass ID, name and age of someone, right? So we'll say ID equal to 24, name equal to Rahul, and age equal to 35, right? And then these arguments, you want to use it in your function later, right? So you will pass it as a keyword argument. So if you run this, you see this is coming as dictionary. Once it is a dictionary, you can access them within a function using any dictionary. So for example, if you want to print name, you will say print name, and then you will say cards and far side. See, name is, sorry, it is not ID, name we want to print. It is a name now, right? So there are two ways of passing dynamically the arguments in a function. It can be using just star. Star means it will go as a tuple, and you have to pass just positional arguments. And if you want the keyword arguments, then you have to use double star and pass the values with a key value pair that you want. So ID 24, name Rahul, age 35, and it becomes a dictionary. Okay, so important to remember, args gives you tuple and cards will give you dictionary.
So
Can
can I
args
print
and
the A
cards
and B
be-
values of the above function if we can go up? Can here
Mhm.
in the keyword argument, can I print the type of what is the type of A and B here? Is it going to be dict?
Here it will be integer, right?
Okay, this
So
is
if I say
okay.
type of A and run this. It is a class integer. So these are two different variables are going. It is a fixed variable. There are two variables. So one is going to B and two is going to A, and because these are integer, the class will be integer.
Okay.
We
Okay.
engineer two variables.
Okay, the moment
Can
you
we pass-
specify stars, then it's going to be changing.
It becomes a data structure because it can be any number of arguments, right? You can pass 10, 20, 30, and then it has to give in a data structure. That's why it becomes tuple or dictionary.
Can it be a strings also, or like
Anything.
okay?
Ankit, can cargs and args be used both at the same time?
Sorry?
Can args and cargs be used both in the parameter of that get sum?
No. You can use one at a time.
Is it mandatory? We have to use args and cargs only.
No, it is not mandatory. Most of the functions you will write will have defined number of variables in real life.
No.
But if you have a use case, then you can definitely use it. But mostly 90% of the times, you will have defined number of arguments you are expecting in a function in real
Instead
life.
of, I mean to say, instead of args only, can we use another word there?
Yeah. Name it can be anything.
Okay.
As a standard practice, it is used like this: arguments and keyword arguments, but it can be anything. You can give your name or any name.
Okay.
Just
And
you have to
another
put a
question.
star. If you put one star, then it becomes a tuple type of thing. And if you give two star, it becomes a dictionary.
Dictionary.
Keyword arguments. That's it.
Got
You
it.
can give any name.
And in line number 30, can we use float number of variable for second any of the variable and summation addition?
Line number 30.
Yeah.
Here you have to pass only two, right? Because it is
Yeah,
a
only
positional.
two.
Yeah.
Only two.
Yeah.
So we have passed two values, right? 1 and 2. Instead
Right.
of 1 and 2, can we use one float variable and can we check the type of that variable?
Yeah. So it becomes float and this will be integer. You can pass anything. You can even pass a dictionary here. So it will go as a dictionary. You can pass anything.
Okay.
Float, integer, string, anything you can pass, and accordingly the data type will be there for this variable.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now you define these functions, right? And you can use it multiple times in your program, right? But let's say you are defining 10 functions, right? And this will become difficult to manage, right? This program will keep on growing. You have 10, 15, 20 functions, and you keep growing. And what about this? Let's say you defined a very complex function, right? Now other team members in your team also wants to use that, right? Then you have to give the definition full, they will copy paste. Again, that code will be repeating, right? So what we can do is we can create a module. In fact, every Python script you create is a module in itself. Okay. Let me create another Python script and then I will show it. So let's do this. New Python file, and let's say I'm calling it as cal. Okay. So I'm creating another Python file called calc, and I'm creating two functions quickly, one for sum and one for multiply. I'll say def9 get sum a comma b return a plus b. Okay. I'm defining another one, get product a comma b, and I will return a multiplied by b. Okay, so I'm defining these two, and let's try to use it in the other one. So let me comment everything here. Okay, so let's try to use this now. So I will say print get sum 1 comma 2. Okay, and if I run this, okay, I think it is taking the previous one. So let me create module. Let me say get sum, get product. Okay, so I've defined these two functions, get product and get sum, and let's try to execute them here. Okay, so it is saying get sum is not defined. Sorry. Did anyone say anything?
We need to import the calc from.
Yeah. I'm doing that. Yeah. So when I do that, it is saying get sum is not defined. Why? Because it is checking in this file only if get sum is there somewhere, right? It's not there. That's why it is saying get sum is not defined. Now, what if we want to use a function which is present in another file or module, right? So this is also a Python file is also you can consider as module, and import that a Python file in another Python file. So I will say import calc. That's it. You don't have to put .py. Just say calc. Okay. So you import calc, and then you say from the calc module use get sum, right? Now if I run this, it is printing 3, right? If I want to use product, I will just say use product, and it will just get you the product 1 into 2, right? You can also, let's say your Python file name is big. In our case, it is just calc, but let's say it is big sum. So you can also alias it. So you can say import calc as C, just C, and then you can reference to this C only, C dot get product. See, it is working perfectly fine, right? You can say get sum. This is also working absolutely fine, right? So you can create another file which has all the functions. Now this file you can put on a common server wherever in a production you keep all your files, you keep there, and then everyone else can use this. They just have to import your Python file using this keyword, and that's it. And they can use it. Okay, as simple as that. Very good. It is in a way to modularize your code. You can divide into multiple files if it is a very big or complex program. If you write everything at once in a file, it becomes very clumsy, right? Doesn't look good to review. Also, it becomes difficult. So there are two things. Once, whatever is you think can be converted into a function, right? Define those functions, right? And then put them in a file. and then import that file, and just in your main file, just call those functions and use them in your calculation or whatever program you want to write. Okay. So
Ankit,
this
it will work with Jupyter as well, right?
yeah, everything.
Ankit, one more quick question. Like, this calc is there in the same same directory, right? Namaste
Right.
Python. But suppose I have in some other directory, so how we can import that?
If you have some other directory, I will have to check. Not sure if it is possible. I'll check
I
that.
think we
Sure.
have to use from
I'll check
and
that.
we have to specify the path. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'll check that.
And
So
Ankit, this module is nothing but the class only, right? Or it's the
class is different. Class is different.
okay.
It is just modularization. That's it. You create a module, import that module, and use it in your main function. Okay, as simple as that. Nothing. You define all the functions here and then use it. So you can even declare a variable. So you can say, let's say here num equal to 5. Okay, and you go here and you say print c dot num, and if I run this, calc has no attribute num. Something is wrong.
Do I need to return this also?
No, num is outside that. Should work. Yes. Fine. Okay, we are not able to access the variables, but
Did we save it?
I think, yeah, you should compile it.
sorry, what you are saying? Okay,
I don't think
we'll check that, but ideally we should be access the variables as well. I think something I'm missing.
Ankit, could you please run calc Python file once? Can you run and give it a try?
No, that doesn't matter actually. That doesn't matter. So if I run this again, it will give you the same method. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But for now, we can create functions. This is also known as module, right? In fact, every Python function is a module, and then you can use it in another program, right? Now, let's say you have multiple Python files, right? And obviously, you can create multiple Python files here and use them together, use them wherever you want. So you can import multiple statements. Also, the import statement ideally should be at the top, right? So you should not use import statements in middle, because it will be difficult to see what all files you are importing, right? So always make sure whatever you want to import are at the top, and then you start your program. Okay. So for just to explain, I have put here, but always put all the import statements. We will see other inbuilt modules we will use in future sessions. Always put all the import statement on the top. Okay. So now what we are going to do is, so let's say there are 4 or 5 modules you have created, and they are all, a package kind of thing you want to create, right? Instead of creating all the modules in your current folder, so there will be a lot of Python files, you will say these are all related to a project. I want to put all these Python files in a package and then access them, right? Just for modularity, nothing much. You can create everything here, or you can just modularize it. So what we will do, we are going to create another folder here and say my package. Okay. So if you see, my package is created, and I'm going to move this here now. Okay. So my package is there in calc.py. If I go to my system as well, you will see there's this my package, and within that, this calc file, we move to now my package. Okay. So now what will happen is if I try to access it in the same way, so let me take it down. See, it automatically converted my import statement, right? But let me do this. Okay. Let me comment it for now and just say whatever we were doing. Okay. It is giving error here. You see, no module named calc. When it was in the same folder, it was all fine. But now we moved it to another folder, right? We moved it to another folder, and now it is saying that no module name calc, right? So what we have to do, we have to say from my package import calc, right? I'm saying that from my package import calc as C. Now it will understand that from a package you have to get this calc function, right? And this my package is present in the same directory, so it is able to identify. But let's see if it works or not. Sorry, num we don't need. Okay, so it is printing 3. Now let's create one more file. So what I will do is I'll just go here, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and create one more file. I will say calc_calc1, and let's open this, and I will put mget division, or let's say subtraction, and division. So I will return a minus b, and here I will return a divided by b. Okay, and let's go back to our script and try running this again. So I will just put this, and then I will say mget subtraction 1, 2. Okay, and let's run this. Again, it is saying mget sub is not there. Why? Because it is there in another file, calc1. So I will have to import that as well. From my package import calc1 as C1, right? And now I will say C1 dot mget sub, and let's see what is happening. So it is still giving me error, right? Right? What do you see now?
C1. Ankit, can you save this file? Cal C1 file.
Sorry?
Can you try to save that file? Cal C1.
Just C1. Let's do. So it has stopped working, right? Nothing is working. The previous one also is not working. So let me do this. Why do you think it is not?
The function spelling was wrong. Mget sub. The C1.
C1
line 43. This is the name of the
mget sub, right? It was sub only, mget sub.
Oh, okay.
So what is wrong with this? Just I'm saying for my package import calc1. It is a calc1, right? As C1, and that C1 dot mget sub. We have a mget sub, right? Mget sub.
Ankit, line number 39, from my package, the spelling of my package is wrong actually. Line number 39, sorry.
39 I have commented already, right?
Oh,
Ankit, is it getting the negative value? Something like that?
Same
No, it
function
is saying has no attribute.
yeah, same function name in both calc.
No, function name is different.
Can
See,
you
here
give
is
argument
mget
as
sub
c
and it
comma
is
d or
mget
something?
sum.
Like attributes of
Can you
state.
save this file once?
That is sub
We can save the file, calc1.
get sub.
I saved
You
it.
have written get.
Okay. So when you create a package and you have multiple files, what you have to do is you have to create one more file. Okay. So let me create one more file with the name underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Okay. And we don't need anything in this file, just an empty file. So I just close it. So when you have multiple files in a folder, right? Multiple modules, or you can say, then you have to tell Python that this is a package, right? To tell that, you have to create an empty file underscore underscore init underscore dot py. Once you create it, the Python will understand that this is going to be a package. Okay. So if I run this now, why it is giving error now? Mget sub. Mget sub. Are we missing anything?
We must give a file location.
Sorry?
File location must be mentioned somewhere.
No, file location is fine. Fine. Let's do this.
The function name is not correct. It will be mget sub. SUM. You have kept SUB.
That is for calc1.
We have mget sub, right? Mget sub.
Did we run that definition file in calc1.py?
Yeah, we don't have to run it. We just create it and import it. It should work definitely.
Okay.
I think while creating the function, you have there is indentation error is there. I think. Could you please
Is
check
it?
once? I think
No, there is no indentation error.
after the colon.
No, if it is indentation error, it will tell indentation error, right? Okay, let's do this. Import mypackage.calc1 as C1 and let's try this. I think some junk character has come.
Ankit, close the console.
Maybe you have directly copied that file, right? That created some problem in the backend.
No. That should not be a problem.
Ankit, try running this mget sub in the calc1 file itself. Just check there once. Like, is it working? Right. Mget sub.
It is working perfectly fine.
It is working very.
Ankit, is that init file empty?
I think some junk character is there for some reason. And that sub is not there. They are doing some small mistake. I
Yeah, in line number 40, you need to write from import like my package.
No, that is one way. We can do like this way also. Import this dot this as C1, right? This also works. This also works. The thing is, see, if I do this, this is working, right? This is working.
The error says line 4 in
But MD5 is in Namaste Python, right?
Namaste Python is our project, and within that we have my package, right?
Ankit, it says file input line 4 in module. Do you want to see the line 4 in module above the attribute error?
Where this one? Okay.
Above the
Line
attribute
4.
error is
Line 4 is this
yeah.
one. When I'm running this is first line, second line, third line, fourth line.
Yeah, so looks like the error is
Just try writing from once and run.
Yeah, that we tried. I think
Ankit, CA calci 1 should be there, I think. My package dot calci 1.
yeah, we were trying that only. CALC1 and should have worked.
No, sub.
Now get sub will be there, right? In calc1, no sum is there.
No,
Ankit,
sum is
check
not
on
there.
top if you have already imported something on the very first line.
Ankit, can we try just by changing the function name? I think Python is somehow taking.
Maybe you've imported something on top and
Find this again. No, let's create another file. Let's see. Is something wrong with this file? Let me delete this file once.
Let's verify that init py is empty.
Let me create one more file. 1 second. And we will
Is
say,
that init file empty?
Hi, Ankit. By using of this shadow code, we check it in Stack Overflow.
And we can check if the init file is empty or not.
init file has to be empty. So let me create again. So I will say sub a minus p. Let's create one only for now. Save it. And
that
then,
calci2 needs to be in my package, right?
yeah, right. I'll just put it here. And then I will say calc2 sc2. That's the c2. And yeah, it is working. I think something wrong with that file. It got corrupted or something. Okay. Anyway, sorry about that. I don't know what was the issue. I first time faced that. But you can import multiple files. So let me import both the files now. So I have a calc file. I will import it as C and calc2 as C2, and then I'm going to print C1 C dot mgetsum and C2 mgetsub, right? Okay, and it is absolutely working fine, right? So let's say you have two functions now here, right? So this what it is doing essentially is it is importing full file. What if you want to import a particular function from that? You don't want all the functions. You want to use only one function, and unnecessarily you are importing everything. So you can import one function as well. So you can say like this. So from my package dot call import get sub, right? Get some. Right. Now what you are doing here is you are just importing one function from that. Okay, you are not importing everything, you are just importing one function. So mgetsum, sorry, my bad. Okay, and then you can say as m whatever, and then you can just access it. So you can say m dot mgetsum. Now what it will do, it will just import this function. If you try to access any other function from this calc, it will not happen, right? Now what is the advantage of it? Advantage is you are just importing what is required. If you import everything, then you are unnecessarily occupying the memory, right? So if I run this now, it will absolutely work. Mgetsum.
We have to just write m.
Sorry.
While we are writing m.
Yeah, it has to be just m. Okay, so this is how, because the function you are importing as m, and then you can directly use it as m. If you want to just have full name, you can just say import m get sum and use as it is. Okay, so this is absolutely working fine, right? So three things we saw. First is normal function. We can create function and use multiple times in our Python file. Second thing is we can create a new file, right? For example, we create this file and then we can import that file and use all the function in my main program. Third thing is if I want to create a package. Package is a group of modules or Python files, you can say. I want to package them together. For example, in your system also, you keep movies in one folder and TV series in one folder or study material in one folder. Similarly, in Python, you create multiple package so that logically you can separate, okay, in this package, these all the files related to this project, in this package, all the files related to this project, or project wise, or the, whatever work you are doing accordingly, you can separate them, modularize them, right? So it is a good way of, placing your files instead of otherwise, let's say if this is not there, all the files you will have in the one folder, right? And you will have to search what is related to what project and all. So it is a good thing to do. In SQL, for example, we have the schema thing. We create different schemas, right? Similarly, we can create multiple packages here, right? And place multiple files in that. Okay, so this is all about functions. Now functions.
Ankit, one question. What is the use case of this init function? That init files?
So what happens if it is a package, right? You have to place init file to tell Python that this is a package, and it has to be empty, nothing. You have to do underscore init dot py, and it can be empty.
Ankit, how internally how it is used as a package?
Yeah, so this is the way of telling Python that the files you are placing in this, it is a package. That's it, nothing much.
Yeah, if you do not mention that line, so is it work or not?
There might be problem. So let's remove this. You are saying, right? Let me move it.
Ankit, the name of the init is anything, or we should write init only?
Init only. Yeah, double underscore, init double underscore. There are two double underscores here. Right.
Ankit, what should be the location of this init file? I mean, where it should be placed?
It should be in that, see, if you see now, that sign has gone, right? That package sign was coming, right? So if I do this now, it's working, but it is not a Python package still. I don't know how it is working. Ideally, should not have worked. But if you see the sign here, it is now a folder, just a folder, not a package, right? So if I restore the file, so if I restore the file, let me create a file again.
Basically, init is a function, right? Ankit?
Yeah. So basically, when we create class, init is used as a, to initialize variable constructor. File underscore init. And let's move it here. If you see, this sign is changing. This becomes a package, right? It is saying it is a package. If we don't give, it is just another folder.
Then what would be the difference between the folder and the package? So does it make difference?
It makes a difference actually. So let's do this. Ideally, it makes a difference. I don't know. Ideally, it should not have worked. My package.calc2. I'm not sure why it is working without the init file.
Because I think if you go to the package, right, you will see some cache. So maybe internally it has stored this init function, some PyCache, right?
Might be possible. Might be possible. Yeah, we can explore that. I'll explore it again and I will let you know how it is working on what is the difference if I don't put a init file. Okay, but ideally,
you can
my
delete that.
understanding was it should not work if underscore init there. Maybe because of cache or something, it is there, but I will figure it out.
Ankit, you can delete that PyCache folder and then try it out. It might.
Okay, let's do it quickly. Okay, and let's. It is working actually.
Do you want to close that window and open because the session level it is happening probably.
Okay, let's close everything. It's working actually. Okay, we'll figure out. That is fine. That is fine. But you can create packages basically, right? You create a folder and place the init file, and then you can place multiple Python files within that, and then you can use it in your function, right? As simple as that. Okay, we'll figure out what is the issue with that.
Ankit,
Yeah.
other than init, can we name it in another name, like instead of init?
It should be init only. It should be init only. Underscore underscore init underscore underscore.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So for example, now what you have to do is whatever assignments we have done for last couple of days. So the problem statement was that write a program for this, write a program for this. Now you have to convert all those to functions and create a file again, right, for the assignments. So for example, if I have to get a mean, right, how I will doing so now? So I will say A equal to 1, B equal to 2. I might take it from the user and then I will say C equal to A plus B divided by 2, right, or whatever number of elements, right, and I will give you the, let's say it's a list, right? So if it's a list 1, 2, 3, so you will say sum of A divided by length of A, right, and this will give you the mean, right? Okay, sorry, A dot sum we have to use. My bad. A dot sum. And if I run this now, what was the sum? I forgot, I think. Does this work?
It's sum of A only.
A. Why it is giving error?
It should be sum of A, sum and parenthesis.
It is like this.
No, but I think it is stored in list only, right? So I think we cannot directly divide it or sum it.
No, if all the elements are integer, we have used the sum function, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Sum of int of A.
It's not there.
We have used it before. It is asking a iteratable, so that's what we are passing, right? Let's do 1, 2, 3. Some missing one required positional argument.
Try to give 1 to 3.
Have we created any sum function?
This
Maybe
is
we
working for
create-
me if I run on my system. I think there is some
Yeah, I
issue.
think we created a function and it is in the memory. So if you create another function with name sum, it will overwrite it, right? It might we created a sum function with two arguments, a comma b, and
Ankit,
it is
just delete,
In the
just
new file
delete
we
the
can
sum
check.
function.
New file
Instead
we
of
can
going to
check.
new file, just delete sum. Del sum. Yes.
yeah.
Now it will
Now it
restore.
should work. Yes, you are right. Yeah, now it is working. Okay. So that is another learning. So if you create a function with a name on which our built-in function is already there, so it will use the function which you have created in your file, right? It will first see if the sum function is you have created a user-defined function is there. If it is there, it will use that. If it is not there, then it will use the built-in one. Okay. So
It
we
was
have to
there in the
calculate.
book you have shared with us.
Sorry.
It was in that book that you shared with us in this course.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So now we are getting 2.0. Now, if I have to convert this to a function, so I will say define get mean, and then I will take a parameter, right? It can be a list or anything, as I said, and then I will say return sum of a divided by length of a, and then I will say print, and I will call this function get mean and the list. Okay. I'm calling this function get mean a. I can assign it to a variable or I can just directly print it. Anything is fine. So if I just run this now, this is not required. And this is working, right? So basically this program equal to 1, 2, 3 or and c equal to this, I converted it to a function. Now I can call this function as many number of times, right? I can have another list b equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and now what I just have to do, I just have to pass the new list. That's it. B. Okay, I did not run this. Okay. If I run this, we got 2.5, the mean of 4 numbers, right? So this becomes reusable. You don't have to write for every list. You don't have to write a separate, this c equal to sum of b divided by len of b. Not required. Just pass the list and it will take the argument as an argument and then return you the value, right? So it solves the two purpose. It becomes reusable and also it is more modularized way of doing things, right? You can define different functions. You can, if you have a big code, you can divide that into small chunk and then use that functions wherever you want. Okay. So this was all about functions. If you have any doubt about functions, you can ask. Otherwise, what we have to do is all the assignments that you have done in last 2 days, you have to convert all of those after today's class to functions. So you will get the understanding how to do functions, how to return values, where to return values. When return value is not required, you have to just do some work and get out of it. That's it. It is not necessary that function should return anything. When you have to use static parameters, when you have to use the dynamic parameters using args or quarks, so all of these things will come into picture. Okay. Okay, great. So next topic is classes and objects. I don't think we can cover it in next 15 minutes. I think we cannot cover the next topic in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Let's cover it tomorrow as a separate topic. And today, Ankit, can you please explain this arg1 again? Like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you can give a light on it. This arg function and this kr something you have mentioned, right? The
arg and kr. Okay. Yeah. Arg and quarks. Okay. So for tomorrow, I'm just telling we will cover classes and objects. Okay. It will not take full session, maybe half an hour or something. After that, what we are going to do, I'm going to explain you the project. Okay. So we'll cover classes and objects tomorrow. Maybe half an hour it will take. And then what we will do, I will explain you the project. Okay. So in the project, most of the things which we have learned so far will be used, and there will be new things also you will have to explore. So make sure you join tomorrow's session, and then over the weekend you have to complete that project. And next week we will start the NumPy. Okay. Now one more thing before we go for today. One more thing is, like, we defined this module, right? Cal2, right? This is our user defined modules. Now in the world of Python, there are hundreds and thousands of modules which are already there, right? So there are developers, because it is an open source, they keep, contributing to the Python, and there are lots of modules already there which you can use directly. So you don't have to, define them or something. You can directly say import and start using it. So for example, there is an module called OS, right? Operating system. So you can use this OS module. You can use this OS module to work with your file system. So for example, if I say import OS, okay, and I will say OS dot. So you see, OS has lot of function, right? Let's say I want to list the directories in my system. So I will say list directory, and I can even pass a path. If I don't pass a path, it will just give you all the directories in the system, in the current folder. So I will say OS dot list directory. So see, it is showing all the files and folder in my current folder, right? So we have hello world, we have my package, we have my first program, np underscore day 2, right? np underscore day 3, np day 4, np day 5, test.txt, all of the file, right? And there are a lot of other functions. If you see OS dot, it will give you path. It can remove some particular folder if you want. You can rename the files, and lot of other things you can do, right? So this is one module, right? There are other modules. For example, there is another module called datetime. So import datetime, right? Now, if you see, datetime is a big name. So I can just alias as a DT. So I'm saying import datetime as DT, right? Right? So it is just giving a warning that this is imported but not used. That is fine, right? So now let's say I want what is the current time, right? So I will say, let's run this. So I imported datetime as DT. So if you see DT dot, so it is giving me all the functions, libraries are there in this DT. Okay, so I'll say DT dot datetime, right? So within this, there is this class datetime, and for that we have a today function to get the current date time. So if I do this, let me copy paste it. So you see, it is giving me current date time, right? 8/6/2023. Okay. So likewise, there are lots of modules. Some modules that we will see next week are NumPy, Pandas, right? But there are thousands of modules, and every time when you work on Python, you will, you have to work on something new. You have to find out, okay, do we have a module of it? You will Google it, get it, how to use it. But day in, day out, you will be working with new packages, new modules, right? So you can just say import the module name. If you want to alias it, you can alias it, right? If it's a big name, generally, there's a standard terms that you can alias it, and then you can use it, right? Now let's say there's another function in this strf time, right? On top of it, if you want to change it to a particular format, so this format doesn't look so good, right? You can say %y, %m, %d. You are saying convert it into YYY MMDD format. So if I run this now, okay, you see it is coming in YYY MMDD format. If you want to have hyphen in between, I'm telling these two functions specifically because these will be used in your project. So I'm just telling so that you are aware of it. The datetime module and the OS you will have to use for the project. So if I run this now, you see it is coming with hyphen 2023 -06 -08. Okay. And that's why Python is so powerful. There are so many modules which makes your life easy, right? So you can do a lot of things directly. Just import the module and call a method in that, and that's it, right? It becomes very easy. You can consider it as another module, another Python file, right? Like we created some file cal2. You can imagine that there is another file named OS, right? And from OS we are using different methods. Similarly, there is another file, let's say called datetime, and you are using different functions and method in that, right? But these are inbuilt already, right? Now with Python, what happens is many of these modules come inbuilt, right? Like for example, OS comes inbuilt, but there are external modules also. So for example, I was talking about NumPy, Pandas, right? Those are external modules, doesn't come by default when you install Python. Those modules doesn't come, and there are many modules which doesn't come. So you have to install them. How you have to install them? You have to go to the terminal. So I will go to CMD and I will say pip. So pip is a Python package manager. Anything you want to install in your Python, you say pip install and the package name. Let's say I want to install Pandas. I will say pip install Pandas. Okay. So in my system, it is already there. I have already installed it. In your system, it might not be there if you have not done, and it will immediately install it. And then you can just start using it. You can say import Pandas as PD, right? And once it is there, then you can use it, right? As simple as that. So whenever you see some package is not there, you just go to the terminal, do pip, and that's it. Pip install and the package name.
Does it download from web and then install it, or how it is?
Right. It downloads from the web and install it.
Okay. And Ankit, on that datetime function.
I think it is in the local file itself. While installing the PyCharm or Jupyter, it is there itself.
No,
It's
if it
not
is already
downloading from-
there, it is fine. Otherwise, you have to install it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Question.
Because every day, so what happens? Every day new packages are coming, right? If today you install your Python, it might have some packages, but after that also some new packages have come. So you have to install it, right? Pip install, and then it will get it for you.
It one quick question, like these OS and datetime module are inbuilt, right? So
Right.
I mean,
If it
suppose
is not there, you can just pip install it.
yeah. So
yeah.
what I was saying, Ankit, so suppose I want to see the function like in datetime function. So can I see that? Like how they built that? Can I see?
Yeah, you can go to the Python installation. So where's my Python installation? Python. My file location. Okay, so this is my Python installation, and if you go to libraries, you see there all of these are there.
Oh,
okay, so you can
okay,
just
from
go
here
and check.
they are importing, right? Okay.
Right, they are importing here, right? And if you see, this is your Python installation package, right? And if you see, there will be one scripts, I think. See, in the scripts, this pip is there. So when you run a pip, basically this is running this program, and this program is installing for you. Okay, so this Python manager pip is nothing but another Python file which does the work for you. You can call it another module, right? Pip is another module as such.
Yeah, Ankit, where is the book that you're saying there is a book for Python that you gave?
It is in the Namaste SQL. Let me go there. If you go to so you see in the day one folder, there is this complete Python ebook for reference. You can just download it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. So tomorrow's session will be very important. The project is not easy. Okay, so we will understand the project. We will cover class and objects, and maybe half an hour we have to spend that what exactly we have to do. Okay, I will keep everything ready, all the files and all whatever is required, and then we can discuss tomorrow. For today, we are good. I will just again explain args and quarks, but I'm not going to take any new topic for today.
Okay, just hold on. Of the for loop, I've pinged you the script. So how can we write that particular instance into that list comprehension type? Can you tell me? I tried using it various ways, but I could not. Maybe after once we have revised the cogs and logs, after that maybe we can try.
What you want to do, just quickly, can you tell me? So this is the tuition fees and that's it. Yeah. Now what you want?
In a list comprehension way, in a single line that we write, right? So how to get that mean tuition out of that?
So list comprehension creates a list, right?
Okay.
List comprehension will create a list.
Okay.
So it will run a loop, right?
Ankit, a small doubt on packages.
Mm-hmm.
So currently, I'm taking reference of the one of the existing Python program in my team. Okay, so they have used some modules like GeoPandas, dates, and regular expressions. Okay, so I just use the same template for my work as well, and I'm not using most of the modules. So will it again import and reuse if I'm not reusing it in code? Will it take more memory or how it will?
So you are importing what you are importing? You are importing all the modules?
Yes.
Yeah. So ideally you should import whatever is required, right? You can import a full file. Let's say in this file you have 4 methods. You want to use 2. That is fine if you import. But let's say there are 10 files. And out of that, you are using only 2. So just import those 2 instead of all 10.
Basically, you are saying unnecessary imports will take memory. Okay.
Right. And in fact, the most of the idle, like PyCharm or Spider, they give you warning also that it is imported but not used anywhere. Right. So if I just remove this, this will start giving me warning that unused import statement. Right. So it is not a good practice to import something which is not used.
So basically this Python interpreter, like it will go step by step. The initial steps are imports, right? It will do imports initially. That's what.
Right. On the top of the program, you will import everything and then it will check. If date time is used anywhere, it is not used, it will give you a warning.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
are you gonna upload Luke's assignment solution?
Okay, you can go.
So I was saying, Ankit, are you gonna upload Luke's assignment solution? Because we were having that, like I was having a lot of doubts on it. So if you upload solution as well, it would be helpful.
We will upload on the weekend only.
Okay.
Saturday I'll do it. Yeah.
Sure, thank you.
Can we pass a function inside a function?
Yeah, you can do that. You
Ankit,
can do
you're
that.
going
You
to
can try it
conduct an
out.
extra session on weekend, right? For this
Yeah.
assignment discussion.
No, that will be doubt session on the weekend. The assignment discussion will be tomorrow.
Okay.
Because the next topic is NumPy and we want to do a project before that. All the basics that we have covered, we want to do a project on that. So I don't want to take NumPy or Pandas tomorrow.
Okay.
Ankit,
So
we
you
are
should
done
do
for
some
the day,
practice
right?
project and then.
We are done for the day, right, Ankit?
Yeah, we are done for today. I'll just explain quarks and arcs again, whoever is confused. Otherwise, you can drop. Yeah.
Ankit, before that, can you explain the difference between the return keyword and the yield keyword, how it works internally?
Which one? Which keyword?
Return keyword and yield keyword.
I'm not getting you, sorry.
He's saying
Can you-
yield keyword. Yield.
Am I audible clearly? I'm saying return and yield keyword.
Return.
Return and yield. He's saying YIELD.
YIELD. We have not discussed yield, right?
Yeah, we have not discussed it. That's why.
Yeah. We have not discussed.
Okay.
Return is just to return something from the function. Right? So let's understand this quarks and arcs again quickly.
Yes. Please cover this.
Okay. So what we have seen so far is we have to pass a static number of parameters in function. So I say a comma b comma c, then you have to pass three arguments to a function and it will work. If you pass 4, it will give you error. Now let's say your requirement is you don't know how many arguments you will pass. So classic example is sum. You want to do a sum of whatever numbers you are passing. Then this becomes your dynamic, right? So you also want to pass 1, 2, 4. At some point in your program, you want to add 5 numbers. You will do this. At some point, you want to do 6. So what you will have to do, if quarks is not there, 5, 6. If this is not there, what you have to do? You have to create 4 different functions. Function 1 will take 3 arguments. There will be another function which will take 4 arguments, then another function 5 arguments, another function 6 arguments. So you will have to create 4 functions for the similar functionality that you want to sum whatever you pass, right? So for these kinds of situation, you can pass dynamically the arguments. You will say star args. You can give any name. It doesn't matter. But standard practice is we use args, ARGS arguments. And it is dynamic, so we are passing star, right? Now what I'm doing, I'm passing 3 arguments, right? And let's print this. Let me remove this for now. I'm just commenting it. And I'm going to run this much only. Okay. And if you see, this is printing args. So in args, what is there? Whatever we passed 1, 2, 3, but it is going as a tuple. When I see the type of arg, it is tuple. Right? So this is going as a tuple. Now once it goes as a tuple, you can just run a loop on it and get the sum of all the numbers. Right? So I'm running a loop for a in args and I'm just adding it up and it will return the sum. So if I do this now again and see what is there in D, D is a sum of 3 numbers 1, 2, 3, 6. Right? Now I can just pass 4 now dynamically. Right? I don't have to care about how many arguments I have to pass. So if I pass 4 went, and if I say D again, it will be sum of 4 numbers. Right? If I pass 1 more argument, it just takes it. We don't have to care about how many arguments we have to pass. Right? Simple. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay, similar to that, we have the quarks as well. So in quarks, I have to pass 2 stars, right? And the general practice is you give quarks so that we know that it is quarks. Okay, I'll say quarks, and everywhere I will use quarks, and just remove this for now. Okay, and now now what happens is this is a keyword arguments, right? Keyword arguments. You have to pass as a keyword something. So what I'm going to do is, so instead of positional argument, I have to pass A equal to 1, B equal to 2, C equal to 3, and that's it, right? And this, you see, this is now is a dictionary, right? Because you have a key value pair. You are giving 1 to A, 2 to B, and 3 to C. So now when you use double star, it is expecting that these are keyword arguments, and then it will produce a dictionary for you, right? If you see, type of quarks is a dictionary, right? Now with that dictionary, you can access the elements. So if you want the value of A, you want to use it in your program, you can just say quarks. I will say print quarks, and what I want A. That's how I access the elements of a dictionary, right? I pass the key. So A is a key in this, and if I do this, it will print 1, right? So you can access the value of A, B, C, whatever you want. So let's do this, A, comma, B, quark B, C, quark C. Okay, and that's it.
Hi, Ankit.
Yeah.
We can use both arcs and quarks at a time, right?
So you are saying that we put arcs here again, right? Right?
Yes.
This is how you are trying to do it. Let's try it. So I will say 1, 2, 3, comma a equal to 1, b equal to 2, c equal to 3, right?
Yes.
And let's see if this works. I have not used it.
It will work. It will work.
It will
I
work.
think it should work.
Yeah, it will work. Because in SAS we are using it, so it works there.
Okay, let's see. Okay, it works. Perfect.
Okay.
I have not used them together, but yeah, it works.
And
What
in
if I
arcs you
change
have,
the position?
it will still work, but the thing is you have to this args argument will be in the same order.
Please go on mute. Someone is talking on phone.
45 days now.
No, args
This is a problem. It is saying that star
won't work now.
parameter after double star. Yeah.
మన salary account లో పడుతుంది.
Args will be mentioned in the first place. Like in
Args
first
should be
argument
first.
will first argument will be args, and then
ఎక్కడ?
this args will keyword will work.
Yeah.
Keyword arguments will work. And
అబ్బాయిని అడుగు ఒకవేళ టైం చేయాలంటే చేసుకున్నాను అయితే దాంట్లో నా వెళ్ళి వెళ్ళాడు నాకు ఫోన్
So who is talking? Okay. Okay, we can use it. I was not aware of it that we can use both. That's great. But now we have to make sure that first arcs is there and then first single star and then double star. Then it works. So whatever you pass until you start passing the keyword argument, this will be a tuple, right? And the moment you start passing the keyword arguments, all of that will be taken as dictionary. So if you see 1, 2, 3 is coming as the first 3 elements are coming as tuple, which are going in args, and the next 3 elements A, B, C are going as dictionary. Okay, and then you can use it in your function however you want.
yes, you got it.
Okay.
Can you
One more
please
question.
scroll?
So the placement doesn't matter here. Like for example, if you keep a equal to 1 in the beginning and then 1, 2, 3, would that take as
No. You have to pass the positional argument first for the args, and then you have to pass keyword argument. We'll go to quarks.
Ankit, could you please scroll up?
And one more thing, Ankit, regarding that
Not here.
the
Scroll
modules,
down.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if modules are present in the same folder, then we just need to import those modules directly.
Right.
And if the files are in a different folder, or we can say in a different package, then we need to pass the package name also.
Package name dot module name. Package name dot module name.
Okay.
Ankit, you have written somewhere num equals to num plus a.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere down. You have to scroll down.
I removed it actually. It was there earlier. Yeah. Just to get the sum of all the numbers in the tuple, right?
Yeah, there is. What my question is, there is one way to another way to write that also, right? Like num plus equals to a.
Yeah, that is a shortcut you can do. So you can do num plus equal to a. So it is similar to num equal to num plus a. This also works. Yeah.
Ankit, if the package is in some other project, can we access that?
Yeah, you can access that.
So right now we have
We have to
Namaste
give-
Python as one project, and suppose there is one more test Python is some other project. And
We should be able to access it. We have to just provide that path and just check out how to give that and put in assignment notes. But we should be able to do it 100%.
okay.
Yeah.
Ankit, just one question would be, you can cover it later as well. So generally, sometimes we create main.py.
Mm-hmm.
where we have to, like, in which cases we have to create. So maybe you can cover that later on.
Yeah, no, it's a quick one. So so you can give the name of your Python file anything as such, right? But let's say you are creating multiple files. There are 10 files. Okay. 9 files you have defined all the functions and you have a main file. Now in the main file you have to call all the functions, right? The main program where you start your program and your program, you will have a main file. So you call it as a main so that if everyone see your code will know, okay, this is your file, main file, this has to be done and this will call other programs. If every file you will keep like this, calc 1, calc 2, calc 3, then person will not know which is the main file, right? In which file I should run my program, right? So the standard practice is put main.py so that everyone knows, okay, this is the main file and in this file you will call other modules.
Okay, so but we do something like if this is the main file, then do some work. So that I'm not sure like when exactly we have to consider that.
We'll cover that.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Ankit, one more question. For calling methods and functions from other files, could you please add the notebook version as well? Like how to copy the functions or modules from one notebook to other notebook?
From one notebook to other notebook? No, I didn't get it.
For example, we use the path reference, right, to import that. So is there any particular way to import any methods defined in one notebook to the main notebook that we're using?
You just have to use import, right?
Yeah, but not sure like whether how we need to import that.
So you have another file, right? Python file. For example, in our case, we have calc.py. So you just say import the file name as if you want to give an alias. If you don't want to give, don't give alias, right?
Like, was there any syntax way for the notebook calling and all?
It is just import. That's it. Nothing much.
Okay.
It should be a Python file .py file, and you just say import and your file name. That's it. And then whatever functions are there within that, you can access it using the namespace c2 dot and the function name within this file.
Okay. Because in this earlier case we discussed it to copy the packages from another folder directly. So we are checking that scenario.
That I will check. So currently, let's say there is another project and we want to access some things from there, or there is a completely different path. So I'll check that. How do we do it? But if it is in the current folder structure, then we can directly import it. No issues.
Okay. In similar way, for the notebooks as well, could we copy that from different location?
Yeah. So it will be the similar thing. Whatever explained here will work for notebooks as well.
Okay.
Yeah. It will work for notebooks, and the way we will import from other folders will work for notebooks as well.
Ankit, what is the difference between methods and functions? Are they both same in Python, or is there any difference between them?
So generally, whatever, when we talk about classes, right? Classes and objects. So whatever, so when I say, let's say A is a string, A equal to A, B, C, right? And I say A dot. These are all called methods. You see, M is also written, right? These are all methods. When we talk from class and objects point of view, it is all methods, right? But everything else is functions. So len is a function basically. Len, okay, right? Or whatever we defined, user-defined function we talked about today, NP day 2, day 3, these are called as functions. Right, and if they are when we tomorrow we will discuss classes and objects. So one class can have multiple. Those are defined as functions only within the class, but they are known as methods. That these are the methods of this class, but they can be used interchangeably sometimes in Python.
So you mean the functions defined inside the class are called methods. Right?
Methods, right? Exactly. Okay.
Ankit, like this zip and map and all those functions, lambda functions, how like practically you are using this in like day-to-day life, or
So
it is
again,
like not too much?
Again, so if you have a zip file, you want to unzip it, you will use a zip function, right? So it depends on your use case. And you can always Google it that if, let's say, you have a zip file, you can just Google how to unzip this file in Python, and someone will tell you that you can use this module or this module. If you want to send email, how to send email using Python, you can just Google how to send email.
Not about zip files or all those things. Zip functions are there. Map, reduce, zip, and then this thing lambda functions are there, right?
Okay, lambda functions. Yeah, lambda functions are kind of functions only. But they are again either you can lambda functions or you can use normal functions. It is up to you. You don't have to always use lambda functions in your program, right? Lambda functions is that. So, for example, we saw list comprehension, right? So we can write for loop or we can also write list comprehension. Similarly, you can write a normal function or a one-line function. Using lambda, you can write a small one-line function as well. So again, it is up to you how you want to use it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Again, in Python is very wide, right? We cannot cover all the topics in any course, but we have to cover the fundamentals. And when you work on it, you will learn new things always. In Python, there is always a learning curve because the more you go, more depth you will see. Okay.
Ankit,
Great. Yeah.
Ankit, can you kind of explain once again the global and local variables example, where initially inside the function the num was like local and then you added the global keyword there, and how the output changes according to that?
Yeah. So let me again quickly explain it. So within a function, any variable is a local variable. So let's take a function quickly. Let me create one more function. Well, let's say, okay, and it is taking two arguments, a comma b, and it is equal to a plus b, and then print c. Okay, I'm just doing this, nothing else. Okay, and now I will say print where 2, 3. Now what it will print? Can you tell me quickly?
5.
It will print 5, right? Okay, colon is missing. That. Okay, it is giving me 5, right? Now, okay, I will just call this. I don't have to print it. It is just printing 5. Okay. Now let's take another variable outside the function. So I will just declare it before the function. I will say c equal to 10. Okay. Now what it will print again? What it is going to print?
5.
It is still going to print 5, right?
Yeah.
Because within the function, this is a local function. I mean, it is local to this function, this variable c. It does not have anything to do outside this function, right? If I print c now what do you think? What will be printed? So first we are passing 2, 3. So 5 will be printed. But now I'm outside this function, right? And this variable is no more c outside the function. So it will still take this value 10. So if I print c5 is printed within the function, and outside it is still this global variable is there, it is pointing to it. So it is printing 10.
Okay.
Okay. So all the variables within a function are local variables. They don't have any scope outside the function. They exist only within the function. After function call is done, they are destroyed. They are no more there. Okay. For some reason, if you want to access those variables, the global variables within the function, so you can say global C. So you are saying that use the global variable C. Now if I do this, 5 is printed because the global C is now overwritten as 5. So when if I'm printing outside, it is giving me 5 because I'm telling within the function that use the global variable.
Okay, so when you're adding the global keyword, it's changing it to 5 instead of the 10. Okay, okay.
The global variable is changed basically.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ankit, and can we use this global name inside the DAF local variables A and B? If I'm using the C variable inside this, instead of A or B, if I'm using the same name of the global, so which one it take?
You are using same name where? I didn't get it, sorry.
C, inside the local variable, the DAF where A and B. Anywhere if I'm using instead of A or B, I'm using C. The same name I'm using in the local.
Like this?
We will be having 3 weeks to like we
Like
use
this,
this keyword like we use this keyword in the Java, like if we are using the same name. So can you use C instead of A, def variable A and B? Yeah.
What do you want me to write? I should write A here?
No, I am saying where A and B are the local variables, right? Parameters, yeah. A and B are you defined if I'm using the same name of the global one. Yeah, we remove B and use C.
Okay.
Yeah, so will it work?
So this will take 3 as C, right? It will be again local only.
Yeah, and now you use C equals to C plus B. Because I use C as the local and the C in the global.
Yeah. What happened? C equal to C plus B. B is not there, right? C plus A. That's 2.
Yeah.
It is still a local only.
Okay.
Yeah. Until and unless you tell that we want to use global, using global keyword, it is all, the scope is local only.
Okay, then write global C also inside that. Then what will the answer?
Global C. I think it is giving some error. So it is saying name C is used both as a parameter and as a global, and I think it is giving me error. Yeah.
So
It
we
is
don't
not-
use, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we cannot use. Like we
Yeah.
use with the this keyword in the Java. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Great. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good day. I will add the assignments. So you have to, I'll just mention in the assignment that you have to do all the older assignments and convert them into functions, and I will add few more questions. Okay. Thank you.